excited to be here. Fire away.
How's it been with this defensive staff for the first time getting ready for a draft?
Really good. I think they've worked well together. Guys from a lot of different backgrounds that don't necessarily have experience with one another. Myself, I've got experience with a couple of them, but it's really good to see the cohesiveness of all those guys working together. They've grinded through a lot of things over the last several months, whether it's scheme of how we're going to implement everything, looking at our own players from last season and through free agency, and now to see those guys focus on the draft. It's been a very collaborative effort on their end, and I'm really pleased with how it's going so far.
Zach, do you find yourself having different defensive conversations with a different group of guys where you end up in different areas than you maybe have in the past, just by the nature of having out here as opposed to the different positions?
I think anytime it's just different people, you're always going to have different conversations, and that's the beauty of it, is people can see things differently, and that's good. We want different voices in the room. Al's done a great job of opening it up to every coach that's in that room. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions before deciding on something official? But he's done a great job driving the bus and making those decisions when needed. So it's just been a fun process to be a part of, and I'm really encouraged by it.
Zach, I know Duke was just talking about just like the offense versus defense narrative with this team from an outside perspective. To try this question, it's easy to look at your offense and say they can outscore everyone. What do you feel like the expectation for you guys when you construct your defense is internally?
To have a championship defense. Maybe we have our finances dedicated a little heavier on offense because some of the big ticket items we have over there, but certainly we want to win a championship, and you got to have a championship level defense to do that. We have a lot of ingredients over there that help us go that direction, and you still have the draft to help yourself finalize that. So I'm really encouraged by everybody we've got in the building.
Coach, with Al being here, is it, you got guys with 3 years of college, how much of that has been helping you to get a kind of insight on some of these players?
Yeah, he's got great awareness of certainly the guys he's played against. There's several Notre Dame guys in the draft, obviously, so we value his opinion there. But at the same time, he's been focused on Notre Dame and maybe the opponent that week, and not really thinking, is this guy going to help me a year from now? So, but he certainly has some awareness on some of the guys that are in the draft.
When you look at edge rusher, it isn't famous, but it's been really productive. Has tested really well, or maybe there's a couple size things that don't work. How do you kind of square that, seeing how you might project to the next level?
I think that there's a lot of different types of ends in this draft. We've got different categories for what we'd put them in and what role they'd play on our team. Again, if they're perfect, then they're the first pick in the draft. If there's other strengths that they have, then they fall later on. So I think it's overall a decent group of edge guys, and we'll see if any of them fit us at the right time.
Just in general, what was your message to the team coming back today about the things you want to get going?
Excite them. We got 3 phases. This is phase 1. So they're going to spend their time in the weight room running and lifting over these next 2 weeks. But just excited to recreate the camaraderie back in the building, get to know some of the new guys, get to see some familiar faces, just work on the discipline and the communication for these next 2 weeks. And then once we get the rookies in the building, we'll hit the next phase of it. So, again, we'll have a lot of team meetings and stuff that takes place at that next phase. Right now, our coaches and our scouts spend a lot of time on the draft, and so our primary focus is there, and let Joey and his assistants focus on the strength and conditioning aspect of things.
Zach, do you expect Trey to attend any voluntary stuff? Can you talk to him about that?
We'll see. It's just day 1. Yeah, we'll see.
Just to follow up on that, on Pat McAfee's show, you said that the communication between him and the team has been poor, but then praised you and the way that he goes about his work is a way of him showing a sign of respect for you. How do you navigate the situation? And you're the head coach who has communication with him, but it's a matter of a situation that you might not be able to have much control over.
Yeah, I think the business side is always complicated. It's never clear cut, and different players at different times will go through this kind of stuff. I appreciate Trey, what he means to this football team. He knows that, and he and I have always had good dialogue together, and this is just a process we'll keep working through.
Is it an overgeneralization, and you mentioned the finances that are on the offensive side of football, to say that it's imperative for this team to draft well defensively and build a defense through the draft?
I don't think it's any different than any other year. We always want to bring the best people that'll help our team win into the building, whether that's offense, defense, or special teams. And so I think that's what Duke does a great job of is analyzing the talent that's on the board and how it fits us, where it can upgrade us, how it fits, how we're going to utilize it, and making the decisions that best fit our team. And so to say that you're going to walk in the draft and this is all you're going to focus on, that's unfair to the process of the draft, because that's just not how it works for us. And so, again, it's a process that we're still going through right now. Duke's done a great job leading the way. Been a lot of conversations and more to be had. But that's the fun part of the process, and I think we'll walk away with players that we're really pleased about.
At guard, bringing back Cody, bringing in Lucas, just in general, what were you looking for in free agency at the guard spot?
So those are two, Cody, I thought, performed well for us over the course of the year, different roles. Cody never really had an opportunity just to practice one spot and go play in the game. He was that chess piece that had to continuously move. He really played right tackle against the Steelers on really no practice reps, playing right tackle. And so he created a lot of value for himself and just willing to do whatever it took to help us win. And so we thought it was important to get him back. Lucas Patrick's been a guy who's really fought for everything he's gotten in this league. Had a lot of starts at different positions under his belt, and we feel like he's a great fit, for what we want in our building and what we want competing at the guard spot. So pleased to get those guys in the mix there, and then we'll go through the draft and see how that shakes out as well.
Again, it could change in the draft, but does it help knowing what you have on the edges with Amarius and Orlando? One big aspect and help the line as a whole.
It does. It's certainly helpful to have those two ends tied down over there, and Ted in the middle. That's good. And then we've got guys that have played a lot of ball for us at guard and other teams as well. And so I feel like we're in a good position going into the draft.
How do you view Matt Henry, like having versatility in general? Is
Yeah.
he someone that could be in the guard competition?
Yeah, he's an ascending player. I think it was good to get year one under his belt. We'll continue to learn more about him as we get into training camp and get him a lot of reps. His first position is center. Second position would be a guard spot, and we'll just continue to work through that as we get real reps here.
How extensive have your discussions been with Al about how different the defense is going to look and how might that impact who you take throughout the first couple of days of the draft?
I think the most important thing for Duke and the scouts has just been to hear Al's vision for each player if they were to come in the building. And, there's oftentimes there are great players in the draft that might be a better fit. And we say the same thing on offense somewhere else. And that's not reducing their talent or what it is. And there's always, you want to fit your schemes around really talented players and let them do what they do best. And so I think just sharing the vision on guys that really fit us and guys that may be better fit somewhere else is always good for Duke to help make decisions on this guy or that guy, tilt it that way. And I think Al's been very clear on how we're going to utilize every single player we bring in the building. And so I think that makes it much clearer for those scouts up there to picture how we'll utilize these players.
Following that up, how many players are there, especially defensively, in this draft where you say, don't care about the scheme, he's just too talented to pass on? How many are there?
That's the $1 million question. Where how much are we going to cater what we want to do to this really talented player? And we're willing to do that with any guy that we bring in here. We want to do what he does best and not necessarily just cram it into how we want things done. If we've decided to take a player, it's because he's got a unique set of skills that we plan to utilize. And so I think that's the best way that I can phrase it for you. That was great.